All right, Rippers, good to see you again. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Hey, something I want to go over in this video. It's kind of important going on right now. There's some important people. Well, the main guy talking about it is Heavy Duty Country. If you haven't seen his channel, go over and give him a shout out. Say hey from the Rippers. Make sure to flood his chat or his comments over there with woohoo Rippers, right? Or hey, hello from Rip Curl Readiness, right? Because we want to give him credit for this one. He's talking about a subject about the differences between places like USCCA, which is like, and there's a bunch of them. There's probably a dozen. And I can put it in a short, all the names of them for you. I'll do that. But it's mainly that one that's being discussed right now, and what he sponsors or recommends, which is Attorneys on Retainer. Now, they're both good organizations. At the start, at the look, looking at them at the face, right? But there are some differences that I think that he's brought up that are really valid and important, right? Because, for a while, the only thing around was something like USCCA, right? Which is an insurance style company. So you pay in a fee every month, and heaven forbid you ever get into a self-defense situation, they come and defend you, right? And then there's attorneys on retainer. Now, the difference between attorneys on retainer and the other ones is this is more like an insurance company. USCCA and the others, it's like you're paying into insurance, just like your car insurance, your house insurance, any kind of insurance you have, health insurance. It's there that you pay into in case the event of, they're there to cover you. And there's, if you should always read through the small print, right? Which is what we don't do as Americans, right? So, terms of service, for example, who reads through those? You just click I agree because you want to use the app. We shouldn't have done that long ago. In fact, we should have been more stringent on saying no to things like that so they didn't become so money-laden and powerful. And they tend to now be a little out of control and controlling everything. But back to the subject. These insurance companies that you pay into, it's for in the event, but you got to read through them because they do have exclusions in them. What the issue is one of the exclusions in USCCA, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me exactly on this, but it's basically it has to be justifiable in their eyes, right? Or there has to be at least a preponderance of the evidence that this was a justifiable self-defense situation, or they have the right not to cover you. Doesn't mean they won't cover you, but they have the right to not cover you. Now, attorneys on retainer, what you're doing is you're paying in a retainer. Now, I reached out to Heavy Duty Country. I didn't hear back from him, but that's okay. I hope he gets back to me. And I may look into this more myself, actually, to find out what is it they do exactly, because I do have some questions for them. The way I understand it, just from what I've read so far, is that attorneys on retainer is you're paying into a retainer like you would any law lawyer that you get, right? You give them a retainer. That then makes them your attorney. Now, a lot of times that's just as simple as $1 or $100 consultation fee. Now they're your attorney, and then they bill you upon the hours. This one is more like a savings account, the way I see it. You're paying in a retainer for any future needs when it comes to defending you against in a self-defense, justifiable shooting type of thing. But it doesn't have to be justifiable. That doesn't mean that they're encouraging criminals to hire them on. It just means they're doing what, in my opinion, is more like what an attorney should be. When you hire a defense attorney, you want him to defend you with everything he's got. All of it, and that's why you hire a good one, right? Because there may be things that weren't exactly perfect on that. Or, on the other hand, the prosecution may try to be twisting things to make it look like you weren't justifiable, and you want somebody that's going to defend you with everything they have to fight that misrepresentation of the facts. Am I correct? Right. That's what you expect out of an attorney. So let's take away the fact that one's an insurance company, one's an attorney on retainer. In a sense, both of them you're hiring to defend you in a self-defense type of situation. And I can just say this personally. I know that I want if I get into a situation like that, which I hope I never do, right? I hope the only thing that I use my gun for is to collect dust bunnies, right? And to go out and have fun at the range and, of course, all that other kind of stuff. But that being said, if I unfortunately have to defend myself, my family, or other innocent bystanders, etc., I want to know that the person that I am hiring, whether they feel that it's justifiable or not, is still going to defend me with everything they have, all their skills, all their knowledge, all the angles, everything, right? Because that's what you hire an attorney for, and that's kind of what you're expecting. And I do kind of feel that when you're doing this insurance company type style, that if they have that clause in there, it kind of gives them an out. And why this has come up is because there's been a couple cases. There's been the guy that was in the mall, and he had another guy, another YouTuber or TikToker or whatever, a social media, or an influencer, social media guy harassing him in a mall. You can obviously tell this guy is not a very social type of person. He was legally carrying, and he felt like he had to defend himself, and he did. I'm not saying whether it was right or wrong in that, but what I'm saying is it really shouldn't matter to your attorney that you're counting on to defend you, right? I mean, if I'm wrong, put it in the comment section. Give me your opinions, because this is a really important topic. And I think I want to be able to count on them that from day one, no matter what, they're going to come in and say, you zip it, and they handle it from there, which is what we all should do. Just by the way, if you get into a defense situation, you're too sick to talk, you just went through a traumatic situation, and now's not the time. I need to have a minute, talk to my attorney and my counselor and whoever else, and we'll get back to you, right? Now, you'll probably get arrested and all that, but I'm saying, don't talk. You don't have anything to say, because remember, the police are just there. They're not for you or against you. They're just there to take down the facts as they see it, which may not be the facts as they are. So be careful. Don't say things. Now, I know this. If I am in a situation like that, I don't want to have to be worried that my defense fund that I've been paying into, whether that's the insurance company type like USCCA or attorneys on retainer, is going to sit there before they come and defend me, which should be immediately right there at the onset of the situation. You should be able to call on them. I don't want them to sit there and wait and look and ponder over it and decide whether or not in their minds it was justifiable or not, and if they should defend it, and if it falls under their parameters. Because that's not what an attorney is supposed to do. If we take away all of their small print on both sides, and let's just say I got into an event like that and I went and hired each of them as an attorney on each side, I would want them to both look at it and get the facts and say, here's how we're going to defend it. This is our plan. And then defend me. Right? Now, I'm not going to say that USCCA in that situation at the mall, and there was another situation with a lady and her, I think it was her abusive husband or whatnot like that, and there may be some questions on whether or not it was justifiable or not, and they decided not to cover her at first. And I think in both of these situations, I know in the mall situation, they came back on after he had gone through and gotten found guilty, locked up, then they came in and paid all of his, and are representing him and on the appeal. And he's very thankful and happy for that, which he should be. But what I'm saying is they should have done that from the start. he shouldn't have got. Now he's got that conviction on his record until the appeals settled and all that kind of stuff. And he's, in jail for a while. I'm sure he got bailed out. But in other words, it should have been from the get-go, right? Because your attorney that you hire is not supposed to sit there and judge you, right? Their job is supposed to be to defend you. The people that are supposed to judge you is the judge and then a jury, right? And the people you hire are the ones that are supposed to defend you against that. So, my questions is to attorneys on appeal, or attorneys on retainer, excuse me. Attorneys on appeal would be the other side. But attorneys on retainer is this, am I correct? Is this like a bank account that you're basically paying into so that you're building up? Now, and do they defend you up until you run out of money, and then you may have to pay extra costs? See, now that would be a difference I'd see in them, is if this is like an account that's built up and you may have to pay, but they're still going to defend you like they should with everything they've got from the get-go. May you be still on the hook for some defense fees, right? Because that's one reason you do the insurance thing, is so that you only have so much out of pocket and then the rest is taken care of. And that's an advantage too, right? Because let's say you just started with attorneys on retainer and you only have a couple months into it paying. Well, do you really have much of a war chest to keep you a free person, right? And defend you? Now, on the other hand, on the other one, can you count on them to defend you from the get-go, right? And then, if they do, are you good to go, right? Do you just pay, say, like you do with most insurances, a deductible, say, or whatever, a certain fee, and then the rest of it is just handled, right? There are pluses and minuses to both. I will say this. I wouldn't feel real comfortable knowing that my attorney is judging whether he's going to defend me or not, and after I've paid in month after month after month after month and have counted on that and went about my life knowing, like we all do when we buy insurance, that we're covered, right? That's why you do it, is for peace of mind, both sides. But I will say this, I do think that attorneys on retainer has absolutely doing what an attorney should do. And no matter what, they're going to fiercely defend you, right? I mean, we all shouldn't be out there doing things that are questionable anyway, because remember, you're always a better witness than you are a victim, right? You don't have to rush into everything, and there probably are some things you may not want to rush into because you don't know what's going on, and you don't want to get shot yourself. But those are all things we won't know until the time comes, right? None of us can pretend to be an expert in that situation. So that being said, those are my questions. That's my video response to heavy duty country and the other side, because there's lots of people going back and forth attacking heavy duty country, which I don't think he's wrong. He has valid questions and he's being critical the other way, but he is being critical in a respectful way because these are legitimate questions that need to be answered. And some of the responses and questions coming back from the attorneys on, not the attorneys on retainer, but the USCCA and insurance company style wise, don't really leave me feeling very comfortable, right? It almost seems like they're dodging things a little bit, trying damage control. And that's not what I want out of my attorney either, right? We should all be honest out there and be straightforward. That's one thing we should be able to count on from our attorneys no matter how we do it. So that being said, I hope you guys really look into this, really read the small print on either side, and ask the hard questions before you make a choice. Heck, you might want to have both of them so you have coverage in both ways, right? And then they can share the fight. I don't know if they'll do that, but just saying, a lot of times attorneys do that. So now, something more fun and exciting. My son made it back from Vietnam, safe and sound, had a great time, ate weird food that he didn't like, and ate super great food that he did like. Even a steak that was absolutely perfect, he said, and was covered with gold, actual real gold foil. And he said it was weird, but yummy, right? So I can't wait to go with him sometime, maybe. I don't know. I'm not much of a world traveler just because I can't take protection with me to a lot of these places, and that's what makes me nervous, right? But it shouldn't keep me from enjoying those kind of situations. So I hope to be able to hear more about that from him. And he only has to go twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, to go over and do that trip, which is for 13 days or so. And he said he had a blast, learned a lot. And the people over there at the factory they went that they're using treated them like kings and were really, really nice. In fact, I think either some of them or even the ones in his company may even have some girls they want to hook him up with. Oh, Lord. Of course, my son has a good head on his shoulder. Career first, get a house, then think about a lady, right? Of course, you never know what nature throws our way, right? Or God himself. So that being said, he did get me a couple good things. Check this out. He got us some Hong Chong. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hong Chong Vietnamese premium coffee. Now, if you guys speak Vietnamese, please translate that for me, because I think this is coffee that has been eaten by some sort of lemur type creature and then pooped out and then processed, which means it should be really good. According to him, in the States, this is like $100. Of course, he didn't pay that there, and there was one more that was above this. But let me know if that's what we're looking at here, because it should be really good. And he got me some, I can't read that, so if you can, and you're Vietnamese, please translate that for me. But what it looks like to me is roasted cashews, right? Which cashews are awesome. And they kind of got some flavor in there with them too, and they're really good. So, good source of protein too, and all kinds of oils and vitamins and things. So, got me that. And then he got me this, which he says is kind of like a religious bracelet, right? Because there's a lot of Buddhism and stuff like that over there. He's got pictures of all kinds of giant Buddha statues, things like that, which are awesome. And they're these little wood beads, and I love these kind of things, right? Because it's probably kind of like a prayer bracelet, something like that. And I'll probably look into that, maybe share more in a future video or short. And it kind of reminds me of where I'm from, Hawaii. We have these things called kukui nuts, and they make them into necklaces, lei type things, and bracelets, which I hang in my car for good luck, because they do have good luck, but mine's looking pretty sad lately. So the next time I go to Hawaii, which hopefully will be in the near future with my mom, she wants a traveling companion to help her travel a little bit and go visit my brother. Speaking of that, hey brother, hey nephews, I hope you're watching this. Aloha, I love you guys, you know that. And maybe one of these days I'll get to go there and share a hunt with you guys. I kind of hope so. Axis deer, super cool. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, be secure, always be aware of your surroundings, and always carry, I'll just prove it, always carry and always be aware of your surroundings, like I think I said that. And until next time, adios and aloha.